Hi, so you might have seen that eggs were in the news again due to a recent study that was published linking consumption of eggs to cardiovascular disease and early death. So I got a lot of questions about this, so I decided to read the entire scientific study and make this video to share some of my thoughts after reading through it and looking at all of the raw data. So something that was great about the study was that it was done over a long period of time. So the study took place over 31 years, but there are lots of pitfalls that we'll get into. So first of all, the researchers said that their study looking at this association was superior to the other studies that have come out looking at this same relationship because they controlled for dietary factors, which is really important when you're trying to assess the relationship between one specific food and a health outcome. So what they did is they looked at unprocessed red meat and processed meats and removed that from the diets of the participants. So when they looked at the data, that's what they removed, and they controlled for those factors. So after they took those factors out, they used a scale of diet quality to assess the diet of the participants. So on average, the participants had a diet between 40 and 50 on an 100-point scale. So that's pretty low. And the organization or the company or whatever it was who set up the scale, they said that anything below 50 is considered a poor diet. And again, all of the participants on average were between 40 and 50% out of 100 on that scale. So everyone that participated in this study already had a poor diet to start, which is really important. And something else that's important is that when you look at the number of eggs that these people were consuming, it's actually really low. So as a daily average, these people were consuming 0.1 to 0.4 eggs per day. So of course they weren't actually consuming 0.1 of an egg, like that wouldn't really make sense. But so what the researchers did to get to these numbers were they were looking at the average number of eggs that participants were eating per week, and then they were just dividing that by 7, so all the days of the week, in order to see what people were eating per day. So these people were eating 0.1 of an egg on the low end, and that's important because that's really not much for a study that's looking specifically at daily egg consumption, or really eggs in general, and drawing conclusions from that and linking that to something like cardiovascular disease. So not much. And also something that the researchers didn't consider when looking at this was other factors. So I noticed when going through the raw data that a lot of these people were smokers. A lot of people were on pharmaceuticals. What we don't know is, did these people exercise? What was their stress level like? There's just so many other factors that go into the development of disease, which is important. And also, if people are just eating 0.1 on the low end of an egg per day, which is really just a few eggs per week, that really begs the question, what else are these people eating? Because all those other things that they're eating, those are really important. And the last thing that I want to touch on that is really, really important in this study is that they also looked at the amount of dietary cholesterol that people were eating per day, so the participants in this study. And they found that the participants in the study were eating between 208, let me just make sure I'm getting this right, so 209 and 384 milligrams of dietary cholesterol every day. So one egg has 186.5 milligrams of cholesterol. So that's one whole egg. But these people on the low end were eating 0.1 of an egg. And still every day they were eating up to 380 odd milligrams of cholesterol in their diet. So that's a lot of other cholesterol from other sources if they're eating so little of these eggs per day. So again, that really begs the question, what else are these people eating? Which is so important when drawing conclusions from research like this. And I just think that it's really important to note this, because often when studies related to diet are being reported in the media, they're not being reported in pursuit of health. Rather, they're being reported in pursuit of clicks, in pursuit of what is the most catchy headline and title that'll get people really interested. But this, from a nutritional standpoint, this is really frustrating because people will read these headlines and then think, okay, I shouldn't be eating eggs, they must be really bad for me. But when you actually get into the raw data and look at the scientific study that was done, it's very clear that it's really not just eggs that are leading to cardiovascular disease, if at all, really. It's a lifestyle. It's no just one food, but it's what are you eating on a daily basis, and other lifestyle factors, stress and exercise and all of those things. So I just think that it's really, really important to note all of those things when looking at something like this and when looking at a catchy headline. So if you have any more questions about this, feel free to let me know. I'm really happy to talk more about this if there's any lingering questions. Thanks.